The blame game continues in the American capital as both Democrats and Republicans seek to pin the government shutdown on the other. But in between the political jabs are the real-life consequences. Larry Sabato from the University of Virginia Center for Politics joins us now. My friend, always a pleasure to talk. Are you surprised we went into the weekend with no scheduled votes in the Senate and House Republicans being sent out until October 14th?
Reggie, honestly, I don't know a single political observer who thought this would be solved quickly, because the gulf between the two parties is enormous. And of course, Trump is not exactly the kind of leader who brings people together.
So, look, the fight here is about healthcare. But is it fair to say that Democrats are also just simply angry with how the White House is governing?
You got it exactly right. When the Democrats, particularly Senator Schumer, the minority leader in the Senate, in March, decided to go along with the president's preferences and not do the maneuvers that he's doing now to hold up the process, Democrats were outraged, and they have stayed outraged. The Democratic leaders like Schumer actually have an approval rating below that of Donald Trump, who has record low approval ratings for a president at this point in his term. So, and the main reason for that is because Democrats are disapproving of his performance. They had no choice. Their choices were to go along with Trump again and then resign, quite literally resign, or fight Trump the way they're doing, even though they may lose this battle. No one knows how it's going to turn out. Probably both sides will be blamed, although I must say I haven't seen a poll yet that blamed Democrats more than Republicans. The Republicans are taking it on the chin so far, but this could last a long time.
Look, Republicans have said that now is not the time to talk about negotiating health care and the government should open up first. But, I guess you could argue that leading up to the shutdown, that probably would have been the best time to carry out negotiations, no?
Oh, absolutely. And also, here's why Democrats wouldn't even consider agreeing to that. They've agreed to things in Trump's second term already. And once the vote is cast and Trump gets his way, then he simply ignores the part of the agreement that made Democrats sign on. So if you can't trust the people involved, how can you do the same thing, make the same mistake over and over again? See, it comes down to Trump and his lack of trustworthiness, just as it does in so many other areas.
I mean, sure, so many other areas, including mass firings. We heard Donald Trump and his White House budget chief saying that they were going to carry out mass firings around the government. We've already seen Trump claw back billions of dollars in projects in blue-leaning states. Two things on that. Number one, is there a risk that funding cuts backfire since there are Republican voters in blue states? But also, is there a risk here for pendulum politics, that if a Democrat wins again in the future, that they could do the same thing, say, to red-leaning states?
There is absolutely a danger of that. And the more sensible Republicans have been telling one another that. They just won't say it publicly, or very few of them will say it publicly. They realize they're setting precedents for the next Democratic president and the next Democratic Congress. And believe it or not, as bleak as things look for Democrats, there will be another Democratic president and Democratic Congress, assuming we still have free and fair elections, which is no longer guaranteed. But they're risking a lot. The Republicans are risking a lot, and they recognize it. But recognizing it and crossing Trump are two very different things. And Republicans know that if Trump turns on them, they will lose their next primary.
You talked about polling earlier. Last question here. Neither side says that they're at fault for this, but polls show that Americans are pointing fingers at Republicans. How bad could this get?
I think it's only going to increase the negativity about politics generally, but it's certainly going to hurt Republicans more. I don't know whether the percentage blaming Republicans will increase or not, but I can't see it moving down very much. And I certainly can't see Democrats being blamed more than Republicans. Look, the one thing that every American knows is that Democrats have no power. They're not in charge of the White House. They're not in charge of the bureaucracy. They're not in charge of the House of Representatives. They're not in charge of the U.S. Senate. And they're not in charge of the Supreme Court, which has been increasingly backing Trump up whatever he does.
He's a fount of knowledge, and we're all a little smarter after listening to him. Larry Sabato, thanks for the chat.
Thank you, Reggie.